After years of promotional material, gameplay trailers, and even demos, Forspoken has finally been released, and the critical reception is certainly mixed. When you look at the critic scores, only for PlayStation 5, by the way, they didn't provide PC review codes until just a day before release. Certainly not enough time for anybody to get a good idea of what this game would be like on PC. And the critics, you can see, are very mixed. A 68's a pretty low critic score, considering it takes a terrible game for somebody to give it less than a 7 these days. But the audience reaction is what a lot of people are talking about. People have been talking about the cringe dialogue in this game for a long time, but especially when it turned out that for PC, you're going to need basically the best PC money can buy just to hope to get 60 frames per second. A lot of people were not happy with that. But if you listen to the SJWs in the gaming space, people don't like it because they're racists. Original God of War director David Jaffe says widespread panning of Forspoken driven by a-holes who clearly don't like women, black people, or PlayStation. Another terrible take by David Jaffe. In his latest embarrassing attempt at signaling his virtue to his fellow adherents of critical identity theory, original God of War director David Jaffe has declared he'll be buying Square Enix widely panned Forspoken solely out of spite towards the assholes who clearly don't like women, black people, or PlayStation that he believes are responsible for the game's poor reputation. And we're going to go through a series of this guy's tweets where it is laughable how much he's flopping back and forth and trying to justify people not liking this solely on the basis of there being a black female lead character. Released by Square Enix on January 24th, Forspoken centers on the story of Frey, a young New York City native who, upon being transported to the magical world of Athea and discovering she possesses the ability to wield magic, must team up with a sentient cuff to free her new surroundings from the oppressive rule of a group known as the Tantus in order to find her way home. And there's some things, I'll be real, that look kind of cool about this game when it started being advertised, when you started seeing some of the gameplay, but also when you listen to some of the dialogue, that part was rough. And just listen to some of these things that went viral out there. This has 5 million views talking about it's going to take a while getting used to this dialogue.
Did I just do that?
Well, definitely with my assistance.
I did not just do that.
We did.
I just moved shit with my mind.
Perhaps our connection has somehow awoken some abilities.
I just moved shit with my mind.
I just keep hearing I.
I just moved shit with my freaking mind! Yeah, okay, that is something I do now. I do magic, talk to sentient cuffs, kill jacked up beasts. You know what? I'll probably fly next.
Now you're just being ridiculous.
Oh, that's too far. Good to know there's a line.
If you
This is what we're talking about, and the game is full of this. Listen to this.
A voosh. Yeah, I gotta get back to where I gotta be through a voosh.
Whoosh. You will get back to where you need to be. Whoosh.
Yes, voosh!
With the voosh, here's near the beginning here.
Our boss, Mr. Gigan, is very unhappy. So unless you get it back, one of us is gonna be in a lot of pain.
Do I get to pick?
Oh, keep joking. We will leave your body in this fucking alley, and I promise you, no one is gonna miss you. No.
Okay, fine. Look, just tell your boss, Mr. Gigan.
There's more of it. What about this one? We'll do one more, okay? And then I'll stop your suffering.
Destruction and corruption are forms of creation in themselves.
Wow, you sound like a serial killer.
What?
Destruction and corruption are beautiful forms of creation in themselves.
I don't sound like that.
You absolutely sound like that.
No, you absolutely sound like that. Yeah, see?
This is all through the game. Now, there are some things. I think a lot of the combat looks decent. Honestly, what it reminds me of, and I think it's the same engine, the Luminous engine, it reminds me a little bit of Final Fantasy 15. Just watching some of this, that's what it feels like. That's what it reminds me of. But hey, there's some of this combat that does look cool. The question for a lot of people, is your equipment going to be able to run it? You've got people that are maxed out their 4090 graphics cards, right? They're maxed out on 4090s right now. A lot of people having problems with the graphics, even on the biggest, the most heftiest of computers. But when it comes to the reason why people are critical of this game, it must just be because they're racists. Let's look at what this stupid fuck said. David Jaffe. I have no strong opinion on Forsaken. Played the demo, enjoyed it, but not looking to drop $70 on it. Anyway, the pile has me thinking of this and how, as I've gotten older, I've realized there's no bad creative output, like, ever. But after encountering further negative criticism and realizing that his somewhat favorable read of the game was unpopular, Jaffe began to take the discourse personally. I'm inches from pulling the trigger on Forspoken at $70. It's a change just in a day. Part of it's the good stuff I'm hearing from people who are playing it, and the fact I did enjoy the demo. The other part is I want to buy it to spite the assholes who don't like women, black people, or PlayStation. But then after so many people responded and said, hey, don't you remember that controversy a while ago about the black tropes they were using for this lead, how people got upset about that? Don't you see the fact that a lot of people, all the criticism has nothing to do with this person's skin color? Changes his tune again. To be clear, the tropes about black folks in Forspoken are shit. They were called out over a year ago, and Square did nothing. But I'm talking about the players who are being dicks for no clear reason. So I assume it's racism plus console war plus misogyny. This is how David Jaffe lives his life. Failing to win over anyone with doubling down, Jaffe would attempt to further disingenuously distance himself from his initial rhetoric. Learn to read, human beings. I said one of the reasons I'm buying Forspoken is to spite people for whom them being racist, misogynistic console wars are motivating factors. If someone plays it and hates it for other reasons they can articulate, fine by me. That's fair. So you're doing this despite what? This mythical group of people that do not exist, that you didn't see anywhere, that you just assumed were out there? Pretty ironic, because the people that I've heard talking about race in terms of this game is actually the media. The media complaining that race was inconsequential, that they didn't like the main character because her skin color meant nothing. There was no struggle that they talked about, nothing like that. She was simply a black female lead who was rather annoying, but her race had nothing to do with the storyline, and the media couldn't stand it. These gaming SJWs, listen, they've been a problem in the gaming industry for over a decade now, and they continue to be a massive problem, but at least they embarrass themselves continuously. Day after day, week after week, game release after game release. The next big one that comes up will likely be Hogwarts Legacy, and I know everybody can't wait for that. What do you think about this? Let me know in the comments section below. Smash a like button, subscribe to the channel, ring the bell for notifications, share this video out there, and I'll talk to you later.